Abramson, leading expert on vaccine law, teaches the subject at Florida International University Law School. Good to see you, Professor. Thank you. The Biden administration bite off more than they can chew on this one?
Well, I would say that it is a very ambitious effort. It's certainly something that has never been done by the federal government, to have a vaccine mandate aimed at the general population as opposed to populations specifically under their control, like the military and immigrants.
You read through this. This caught our eye, and this is from the OSHA rules that were published. It took them 2 months to figure this out, so it has been difficult. This means that employers must allow OSHA representatives to examine and copy each employee's COVID-19 vaccine documentation, including access to relevant employee medical records. OSHA does not believe that its inspectors need to obtain employee permission to access and review personally identifiable information. That goes way beyond just a testing requirement, doesn't it?
Well, the access to information is actually the kind of thing that OSHA has done with all sorts of standards that they have with respect to employee health and safety. So that's not really a surprise, although it certainly can be disconcerting to have the idea that your medical records may be looked at without your permission.
Yeah, it's kind of scary also when you think about that and what OSHA could then do with that to form a database. This is the Surgeon General defending and saying we're going for it. Take a listen.
Throughout our history, we've seen that we have used vaccine requirements to protect the population. It started back with George Washington, in fact, when he required troops to be inoculated for smallpox. In the 1800s, schools started having vaccine requirements.
All right, that's troops and schools, different than employers. How long till this ends up at the Supreme Court?
I think it's going to get to the Supreme Court fairly quickly, at least in terms of the court being asked to stay the effects of the mandate pursuant to some litigation or other that is brought against it. And in fact, as you know, the mandate has already been stayed by the Fifth Circuit, although they haven't made it clear in their stay whether that's intended to apply to the entire country. And that is something that, we have seen throughout this kind of pandemic period. We've seen vaccination mandates being instituted by states and by institutions that have very quickly had rulings issued by district courts and then gone to courts of appeals and then gone to the Supreme Court. And thus far, none of those have been granted, but this may be different.
It does feel like this one, in terms of the way the Fifth Circuit read it, I'm not a lawyer, but you are, and the way that the Fifth Circuit wrote it, it seems as though there's clearly some issues that need to be resolved here. This doesn't take effect until January 4th, so it seems like the Biden administration knew that there was going to be a fight about this, and they wanted to give it time to play out. Could you think of other ways, if the Biden administration was really serious about a mandate and getting more people vaccinated, would it have been a lot easier to, say, tie vaccine status to welfare payments or to food stamps or to being able to get on an airplane? Wouldn't have that gotten a lot more people vaccinated a lot easier?
I don't know how effective that would have been. It certainly would have been politically more difficult, I think, because you're talking still about a much larger swath of the population. And there's been a lot of talk about how the OSHA mandate reaches 80 million people, but that just means that there are 80 million people who work in companies that are affected. 2/3 of those are already vaccinated, and many of them are already under either private or state mandates requiring their vaccination. So it's a much smaller segment of the population than the Biden administration has really sort of represented in their discussions of this mandate. But it's also, it's easier to do it through OSHA, I think, than to try and do something through Social Security or some other kind of social safety net.
Certainly way more politically palatable to blame it on the employers than it is to all of a sudden be the ones to say, hey, you can't get on a plane to go visit grandma unless you've gotten the shot. Hey, Professor, really appreciate your thoughts. This is going to keep going, obviously, and we enjoyed having you talk about it.
It's the first step in a waltz where
I like that. Let the music begin, as we say. Good to see you, sir. 66. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.